Well, that weather's certainly took a turn for the worse now. It's done nothing but throw it down with rain all day. And there's some really strong winds as well. So, I'm really pleased that I took all those peppers out of that raised area yesterday. If they weren't damaged yesterday, they definitely would have been today. But even so, I've still just come out into the greenhouse, just have a look, see what's happening, how things are getting on. And I've also discovered one of the panes was leaking, so I'm going to have to fix that now. But I'm also looking at these. Come up quite well. That's wombok, Chinese cabbage. And we can grow it as a clump of greens if we want to. Or we can pick some out as well, pot them on and grow some nice big Chinese cabbages. So I decided that's what I want to do. But I forgot my tree, so now I've got to go back out in rain and get them. They're in the shed. But the trees I'm using are a bit different to what I normally use. They're a lot deeper and they hold more compost. So obviously the idea is I can leave them in here for that bit longer. And to be fair, they're not going to look much when I pop them in here. But at least I'm not going to have to move them for quite a while. I'm only going to take about 6 out for the moment, see how they get on. Just let the others grow on. I'll just give that compost a bit of a watering. Or I could have put it outside for 5 minutes. It don't look like this is going to be stopping anytime soon. But we can get something done, that's all that matters. I have noticed that some of these cabbages that we've got in here are starting to stretch a little bit as well. And that's because of the reduction in light. So it's just as well for me to take a few out now, plant them deeper, and then try and bring them on. And then just see how the rest do. And we have got some pak choy as well, which is also Chinese cabbage. And they seem to be doing alright, but we did move those on and plant them deeper. And that's what makes all the difference at this time of year. You've got to compensate for that lack of light by moving your plants on. And then eventually, plants do stop stretching. They won't stretch forever. They'll get the true leaves, and then they'll start to fill out a little bit, and then they'll stop stretching for light. But when they first come out as little seedlings, they're just searching for that sun to get photosynthesis. And for the moment, these are alright. So, we'll do the same with these. We're not going to see much sun today, that's a fact. If I bring camera in a little bit closer, you'll be able to see the difference in the growth on these plants, even though they're in the same area and they've got the same conditions. So as you can see, there's a varying degree of plant size, little tiny ones, some a bit bigger, and then mainly over this side we've got some that's quite a bit bigger, but at the same time they're starting to get leggy. And that's the thing that we need to avoid in autumn, leggy plants. Then them two there, they're very leggy. And that's why I'm going to take a few out. Because if this area doesn't work the way I want it to, at least I'm still going to have some to grow on. So we'll get that done now. So I'm just going to dig a few out. I'm trying to find ones that's a bit separate from the rest, but that's quite difficult to be fair, so I'm just going to have to take what I can get. And they're so easy to get out. But you can see there's not much of a root system on them yet. That don't mean there's anything wrong with this plant, because if there were, it wouldn't be trying to grow its first true leaf. So we want 6 of these basically. Just knock that compost off as we go. See, that one's quite a bit better. And we've got one over here that's quite a big one, which I want to take out just because of the size, but it is right next to another. And again, quite small roots. these tall ones that have been an issue in past. Quite a long stem for a tiny plant, just what I'm trying to avoid. But this one is getting its true leaf, and it's quite a good size. Although it's not as leggy as some, it's still going to have a good root system. So we just need one more out of here. I'll probably do some more another day, especially this group here, because they're actually starting to fall over as they're so tall. And this crazy weather again isn't helping. If you pull any out and you only get that much root on them, don't worry, it'll still work. So we'll move them aside, we don't need those now. So now I just need to make an old... I lost my pencil, but the stick's just as good. The weather today is crazy. I don't know whether it's tail ends of that Florida storm that we've got at the moment, but it's quite a change from where it has been. So let's get these little seedlings in here now. That's exactly how I like to see my new seedlings. Right down to those leaves. Get rid of all that stem. And it's perfectly fine to bury them so deep. The only thing you want to make sure you don't do is bury that tiny little leaf there, because that's your first true leaf. This weather's starting to remind me of that storm Eunice that we had at the beginning of the year. It basically blew one of my greenhouses over and smashed it to pieces. That was pretty annoying. It was one of them cheap polycarb ones, so obviously it wasn't anchored down properly. But now it don't need to be because it no longer exists. So they're done. Really quick. So no hardship to do a job like that, especially on a day like this. If you can do anything inside at this time of year, you might as well get it done. But at least we know now we've got some Wongbok Chinese cabbage in their own little spaces. Sunk that little bit deeper so they'll grow to be a better, stronger plant. The others, we'll just keep us eye on them, because I'm not sure how long this overcast weather's going to be, but it's always a deficit to your plants. The more overcast it is, the less your fruit ripens, the slower your plants are going to grow. But it is almost October, and it's that time of year where you've got to make the best of a bad job. Some things are still growing really well. That's those beetroot, and they've now passed the top, and they're looking really well. And so are those red cabbage that initially they didn't look that good, but they've come on quite a bit in the last couple of days. And we've got other ones that are now completely filling the bottom of that tray. So they'll just come up in a big dense bunch, and then we'll take the lot off when they reach about 2 inches above. And for now I'm just going to put those in there. And I'm only saying that because I can't find my pencil to put a label in. But this video will remind me for exactly where I put it and what it were. I'll show you this as well. We planted these not that long ago, and it's garlic. But garlic's very slow growing. But they've germinated and they're already coming out above that compost, which is brilliant. So we put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We might have put 7 in here, or maybe 6, so there might only be one out of there that's not come up yet. Don't mean it won't come up, but that's pretty good to see the garlic coming up so quick. And those cauliflowers that we potted on, they seem to be doing okay in these bigger pots now, so that's good news. So although this weather is proving to be a bit of a deficit for growing at this time of year, we are still going to get some sunny days, and just a few is going to help. So all we can do is just keep checking that weather forecast, accommodating the plants as they need it, either by wrapping them in bubble wrap, moving them out at sun or into sun to get the best that we can from them. And in the UK, it's a long winter, so we might as well be doing something other than nothing. Anyway, have a really nice weekend. Thank you very much for watching this video. And if you want to see what else we do later in the year, just hit the subscribe button and we'll see you on the next update. I probably should have brought a coat. Take care.